A movie possibly starring a Hollywood A-lister could put Mena, Arkansas on the map. Then the FDA approves a device for people desperate to lose weight. Plus,
let the races begin. Oaklawn opens on an absolutely gorgeous day. Coming up, we're going to tell you some stories and give you some inside information that nobody knows about this wonderful place as your news starts now.
Now, from Arkansas's News and Information Center, this is THV 11 News at 6.
One Jacksonville funeral home is being investigated for what one former employee is calling complete disregard for the dead. I'm Dawn Scott.
And I'm Denise Middleton. The man filed a formal complaint to the State Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors against Arkansas Funeral Care on Friday. An investigation was promptly launched. THV 11's Dan Grossman has been following this story and has details.
Dawn and Denise, the man I sat down with today was fired from the funeral home recently after being accused of stealing an item belonging to one of the deceased. We did confirm that inspectors have been to the funeral home, but they aren't releasing any of their findings.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
It's a series of infractions one former employee is calling grossly disrespectful.
They seem like they just bring in the bodies just like cattle, and they stack them like cordwood in the back, and that's what I call disrespect.
According to a complaint filed by Jones on Friday, bodies at the Arkansas Funeral Care facility were allegedly stacked on top of each other outside the cooler, detailing infractions including blood on the walls and lacking facilities.
Manager says, "Oh, we'll see what we can do. We can see what we can do." That never transpired.
The Arkansas Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors could not comment on the case because they have not seen the evidence, but in an email to THV 11 said, quote, "This is a different case because of the severity of the accusations," adding in a separate call, they think this is more than just a disgruntled employee.
I just had enough of the disrespect and the crowding of the bodies.
THV 11 reached out to the funeral home's owner, Leroy Wood, who refused comment, saying the only obligation he had was to formally respond to the state board's complaint.
It's a gross disrespect of the dead, and it's just I just hated to see it.
Inspectors have visited the facility to gather evidence and will examine it for the next 30 days before proceeding.
I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't take my dog there, to be blunt with you, you know. I think it's worth the money, a little extra, to have respect for the dead.
While the state board hasn't released the evidence yet, they said it should become available by next week. If they determine the accusations are true, a hearing will be set for mid-March. Dawn and Denise.
All right, thank you, Dan. The owner of the 3 dogs who attacked a woman in Damascus last October has been ordered to pay a fine. It is a story you saw only on 11. You may remember seeing this video showing the dogs also going after the police chief who responded to the scene.
A judge this week told the owner to pay $913 in restitution and fines. That money is for the victim who was walking to her car near her home when the dogs attacked her.
Hey, I'm Sarah Fortner filling in for our chief meteorologist Ed Buckner tonight. I am at the Chenal Country Club at the Ducks Unlimited 10th annual Jerry Jones Sportsmanship Awards Banquet, and there's an auction. So we're raising bucks for ducks out here. We are in the home stretch of duck season, 10 days left, and I've got some good weather for those of you that are heading out maybe this weekend or even next week. Have a look at your temperatures outside or your satellite and radar right now. Mostly clear. Looks like we're going to have a mostly clear weekend ahead too. Temperatures are in the upper 40s. We topped out at 50 degrees today, and as we go into that 3-day outlook, we're at 44 degrees now, 41 in Stuttgart. Look at these next 3 days. It is prime time for anything you've got to do outside this weekend. 54 tomorrow, 60 Saturday, and near 60 Saturday, and 60 degrees Sunday. So, Craig, how's it going out there at Oaklawn?
As the duck season ends, the thoroughbred season begins here at Oaklawn, and the old-timers who were here saw a couple of things that they'd never seen before. First of all, the season beginning on a Thursday. The second was everybody getting in free. There are no turnstiles, no admission booths anymore. Everybody just walking in like they're going to do all season long. and the old-timers had never seen that before. But it's the people that had never been here before that I love to meet and greet, and one of those in attendance today, Astrid Solorzano, who got an introduction to Oaklawn racing lore. Astrid.
I mean, Craig, the thousands of people that were here earlier today, you saw them, but now I'm outside and they're starting to clean up. We actually got to meet, we had the privilege of meeting the former track announcer, and he told us that in the 37 years that he did that job, he didn't miss a single day.
You're just happy that you wake up every morning.
Familiar face after familiar face.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Yeah.
How's Miss Sarah?
All he does is just stand by the door, and soon enough, Terry Walsh will recognize a friendly face.
I made a lot of good friends over a period of time.
Can I get a picture with the girls?
Sure. I always feel like this is a coming home for me.
2 programs in a form, make it even 5.
Wallace has worked here for 40 years.
I hope you have a great time. I'm Terry Wallace.
He's known for breaking the record of more than 21,000 race calls, but he says he's mostly known for being here so long.
You have to be able to have a short-term memory, which means you'll learn horses and forget them just as quickly because there's a whole new set of them coming out in just a half an hour.
He got a cool voice. I like his voice.
Some people say they feel like they know him.
I come up to him because I've been knowing him for years. I've been looking at his face for years.
Once a day, he goes back to his office and gives the local paper his best bets.
It was good for them in order to try to sell papers during this time of year to use somebody who could be trusted.
But despite picking his favorites, he says his favorite part of his job is actually talking to people who feel like family.
Good day, sir.
And good for you.
We hope we have a great season.
I think we're on our way. These are people who are really close to me and have become my family over years.
Now, the general manager told us that they're off to a very good start. In fact, this is the best non-festival Thursday that they have had in 10 years. Craig, can you believe that? We're sending it back to you.
Oh, it's so good to hear Terry Wallace's voice again, Rolly, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, a guy who's been around here for so many years, has forgotten more about racing than we'll ever know, and just all the great horses that he's seen and got to call over his career.
Rolly Hoyt, of course. Rolly and I are the big race fans on the THV 11 staff. We get to have a conversation about horse racing on the air as opposed to off the air. And the thing I was impressed with today, 11 horses on average in every race.
It's a sign of how big the purses are this year and all the great competition that has been converging on Hot Springs for this year's season. Now, when you're at the track, it's who you know, it's what you know, It's what numbers you know. We're going to give you a list of 10 people that you need to know if you want to have success at Oaklawn coming up this season. We're going to do that a little bit later on.
And what's made me a race fan is when you have a horse to root for, when you have a name to root for. We've got one of those stories, an incredible story, coming up in minutes. Donna Denise, back to you.
All right, guys, we'll check back in just a bit. The House Education Committee met for the first time today. That's the group that will make a decision on the controversial measure to mandate cursive writing in schools. According to committee chair Bruce Kauser, they've asked for a report on what the financial impact would be if all schools taught cursive writing. Well, until this committee receives that statement, they won't make a decision on the bill. Kauser thinks that could be sometime next week. AT&T set to hire dozens of new workers in Arkansas. With 120 jobs now open, the wireless provider is looking for technicians and retail sales workers. The company currently employs more than 2,300 Arkansans.
Filming of a major motion picture could bring Hollywood to western Arkansas. The star-studded cast would include Tom Cruise. THV 11's Meredith Mitchell tells us what this impact might have on the small Arkansas town.
The Hollywood spotlight may soon shine down on Mena, Arkansas.
I think it'd be a positive. There's a story there. I see it nothing but a positive for Mena.
The film titled Mena is a fact-based tale about Barry Seal, a pilot in the 1980s who was a gun runner and drug trafficker working for the CIA and drug cartels. The operation run out of the Mena airport. Mena Mayor George McKee says he's only received one phone call regarding the film.
It was just kind of an introduction and let me know they're thinking about it.
Universal Pictures paid $1 million for the script last year. This week, Deadline.com reported that Tom Cruise and director Doug Liman would be teaming up on the film. Christopher Crane, Arkansas Film Commissioner, says his office has already been in talks with Universal about the state's tax incentives.
When they optioned the script, we automatically knew that it was going to be Mena, Arkansas. If it's going to be Mena, Arkansas, we thought it needs to be shot here.
Crane says that the film goes hand in hand with Governor Hutchinson's new economic plan, creating jobs in the state and bringing new industry to Arkansas.
These people come to your city, and then they're not just there for 2 or 3 days, though. They're there for months and months.
And Mayor McKee says he would be all for the monetary boost.
It's good for the business, the people, the city, everything.
Meredith Mitchell, THV 11 News.
The Film Commission says they are in the early stages of pre-production, so there is no timeline when this could actually happen.
Well, today is the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Groups across the state honoring his legacy. Coming up, how Central Arkansas students, both young and old, paid tribute to the civil rights leader this afternoon.